Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to talk to you guys about overtraining a little bit. I've done a whole series in the past on overtraining. I don't even know if I can find them again in the almost 1,000 videos on this channel, but I did it in the past, so let me touch on it again because a lot of people are asking me about overtraining because there are multiple channels out there on YouTube talking about the term regularly. Some of them are saying overtraining doesn't exist, it's not real. Other people are saying it's a positive thing and they're trying to overtrain and they use overtraining. Both of these groups of people are wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. A lot of times this gets confused because magazines coined a more popular version of this and talked about overtraining as just any sort of high frequency training or high volume training is overtraining due to Mike Menzer. Whereas in the exercise science world has a full-fledged definition of overtraining. It is a medical condition that can be diagnosed by a sports physician. And that is the type of overtraining term I want to focus on, because the rest of it's all bullshit, non-defined terms. It's just a loose term people throw around with no meaning when you actually have a medical definition. Now with overtraining, does it exist? Yes, it exists. It is real. If you have experienced overtraining, you very well might need to be hospitalized. It is that serious. Fortunately for you, the majority of novice lifters aren't strong enough and don't have enough free time to overtrain. More advanced lifters, it is more of a concern, but again, people who have jobs and lives really shouldn't be overly concerned about it. It's not going to happen very often, other than the case of some very, very strong individuals. Someone who is capable of squatting 700 pounds can very well overtrain if they come in and do a high volume squat session 5 days per week. That person could experience overtraining after several months and really, really struggle with it. But the majority of people, it's a non-issue. Now, what a lot of people are confusing with it is short-term overreaching. Overreaching, which means you train harder and with more volume and workload than you are capable of recovering from, which in the short term will actually boost performance when you finally do back off and recover. So like, let's say you overreach for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or whatever, 3 weeks, you back off and you deload for a week, you will adapt and come back even stronger. Someone who overreaches and continues to overreach without ever backing off and deloading or recovering correctly will oftentimes, if they haven't built up their work capacity to deal with the adaptation, they will stall. Sometimes they will regress. But you have to overreach for a very, very long period of time before you overtrain, because some of those people will still catch up. It's just that if they continually overreach without ever building the proper work capacity up, because they're just throwing in too many mindless exercises or just doing way too much volume too frequently for themselves to fully recover from, for extended periods of time, not just a few weeks, eventually they'll catch back up and start making gains again. So they'll get a dip, sometimes they'll regress, they'll catch back up, whereas if they deload correctly, they'll get better progress for the year. But it won't stop them from making progress most of the time until they reach that true state of chronic overreaching. You start reaching true overtraining, you'll start experiencing all sorts of medical symptoms. It will be very problematic. But it's important to not confuse overreaching with overtraining, because overtraining is a long-term chronic process. It's not something you can do in the short term. Overreaching is something you can achieve in a single week. Overreaching in a proper program training protocol is beneficial, but we would usually call it planned overreaching. So it's important to understand the difference. So overtraining is real, it is always negative, and it is relatively rare. The majority of people are probably not going to overtrain. So hopefully that clarifies everything. And that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go. Oh, Mount Biceps.